Hey, I hope you're doing great. And we are going to talk about the Matrix. Ooh. And I really didn't want to do this, but the last 5 days in a row, I've been having the most absurd dreams of being in the Matrix and walking around there. Like in the actual thing that starts this experience. And then from there, like once I get myself into trouble or something happens, I get put back into this matrix and I wake up here. And this has become really vivid and clear to the point where I'm well aware of what's happening outside of here. So I'm going to make it as easy for you as possible, so that you can comprehend what it actually is. Okay, now where do I begin? Well, let me explain to explain to you the dreams that I've been having, because I think it's easier that way. I've been dreaming that I'm walking through this giant shopping center, but instead of a shopping center, it's a massive, like an infinite crystal. It's crystalline. It looks like I'm inside of a quartz crystal, basically. Like a quartz crystal cluster that's been cut and made precise and has all these diamond-like precision cuts all over it. And it's not just three-dimensional, it's like, I have no idea how many dimensions it is. You keep walking and you think you're going to get to the door you're walking towards, but it just keeps going and going and going until you actually feel like you're at the door, and then the door is right in front of you. As long as you feel like you're walking, you're going to keep walking. So I was in this area of it, which seems to be a hub, a lobby, a place where like everybody, goes in there to then go into this matrix. It's basically like a starship that has an entrance, like a doorway, a gateway, a stargate type of thing, into the crystal. And this doorway into this crystal is a black hole. It's like nothingness. When you're looking at it, it's literally nothing. You're looking into the void. And then you walk into the void, and then you're in this dimensional weird thing that looks like a shopping mall. And then from there, the thoughts first, once you're into this void area, it's complete nothingness. When you close your eyes and you see nothing but swirling colors, it's like that. And then it's like your eyes open and then you see something, whatever it is. For me, it's been a neutral ground of like a shopping district where each store you go to is a different doorway into a different universe or a multiverse. If you've ever played any game that has multiple servers but one home base, after you enter this matrix, you go into the home base area, and then from there you branch off into other places. Once you go past the home base, you forget that you're in the matrix. But while you're in home base, you still remember that you're in the matrix and you're deciding with your friends and family where to go. And then wherever you go, your friends and stuff become your spirit guides while you're in that area. I hope this makes sense to you so far. I'm explaining it to you the way I was experiencing it. Because I went to sleep here, I woke up in this darkness, and then I was in this like shopping mall, and then I was in this starship, so I went backwards. And then from the starship, something happened there. It was strange. It was like I got hurt or something. And then they put me back into the void area, and then that void area took me into this healing sanctuary aspect of the matrix, and then from there I woke up here. It was very weird. But anyway, I was asked to share a bunch of stuff with you about all of this, so The next few videos are going to be predominantly about this device. What else was there? I apologize, I'm like getting a little frazzled because I'm attempting to remember something that it's too much. So I'm remembering all of it and attempting to explain it to you is like fitting the ocean through a straw, or whatever that analogy is. So just bear with me. I'm going to jump around in different places and then you'll have a better picture of what's going on. Basically, if I'm describing this word to you without you knowing what it is, I would paint out each aspect of each letter for you first and then show it to you and say, what do you see? And then you would say it looks like, a bunch of letters and it looks like this, but you don't know how to pronounce it, right? So first we have to actually look at the letters you're looking at. This place, this matrix device thing, when I was in there, when I was lucid and experiencing it, the part where I realized what it was fully, I was experiencing a reality where everyone in my life was completely living their most amazing life. Like everyone was in the future, everybody had all this space age technology. The entire spaceship itself was sentient. So you would walk around the spaceship and say, I literally asked this device, the ship itself, I had a blanket and I'm like looking at the blanket trying to put like little stars on it, like to kind of make it look like this. Oh, you can't see that, hold on. Like these little sparkles, but on a different blanket. And a friend of mine in there was like, it's going to take you forever to do this. Why don't you just ask the ship to do it? And I was like, oh yeah. And I like stopped what I was doing and I held the blanket in my hand and I called to the ship and I was like, will you please? Actually, it was more like, I would like you to put these little things all around this blanket and then bring it back in the shape of a pillow. And I held the blanket up and the ship's roof opened, a lever came down, grabbed the blanket, went up, did something to it, and brought it back exactly how I wanted it. I know, Lily, I know. You haven't had attention for 10 minutes. So it was basically like you're talking to the ship on Star Trek, like pushing the buttons to get the food, but way more advanced. Like the entire ship, every aspect of it had panels that could open up, change, shift, and do whatever. So if you were walking down the hallway and suddenly you wanted a cup of tea, you just tell the ship like, hey, I would like a cup of tea right now with this amount of sugar and this amount of this or whatever, and then a panel would just open up and go, boop, here you go, and then it would close back up again. The entire thing was sentient and morphic. And all the people there were real, but all the people you experience when you go into the void area, the actual matrix construct, were fake. And so when you're in the matrix, you are the only thing that's real. So right now when you're watching this, you're the only living being that can think and can choose to make choices. Everyone else, excluding maybe your mother and possibly a specific designated soulmate. And I use that word very loosely and very carefully because I know all the strings that come attached to it. These people that are completely real and with you in the matrix, they usually aren't very kind to you because they actually want the best for you and they are here to help you get back on the track you're supposed to be on. So, you are the only being that's real. You can also verify this by researching Neville Goddard and other people who talk about this. And I am telling you only what I have experienced, what I know for a fact with my own consciousness, and what I've experienced. Because the word experience is so multifaceted. What I've experienced in my physical life, my conscious waking life, my multi-dimensional life, and in the dream state. So this device, this matrix that we're in, is a healing tool. On the ship that's up, well, I guess it's not up there, you're in the ship right now. On that ship, or that planet, I can't really tell what it is. It feels like a ship, but it also feels like it's a planet that has a ship docked onto it. So maybe it's the actual planet Earth there, and then there's a ship that's landed there, and the people are back and forth. That I'm not certain on, because I haven't been off of the ship many times. The few times I went off of the ship, I got into a lot of trouble. A lot of trouble. Like, the planet there is not friendly whatsoever. There's like it makes like a vicious planet like Venus or Jupiter storms, or whatever, look like child's play. It's like the angry version of Gaia. Anyway, the ship that you're on is, the structure of it is kind of like a massive cube, but not a cube. Not a triangle, not a pyramid, but some form of sacred geometry. The best way I can explain it to you is if you watch the video by Robin and Royksopp, I think, called Monument. They show a multifaceted geometric cube structure that is infinite. That's basically what the ship is. There are parts of it that look like the Star Trek ship or the Star Wars, solar moon planetoid, whatever it was, the Death Star. And then there's parts of it that are completely lush and garden filled, and plants are being grown, and it's like a mini floating asteroid, basically. And God, this is so much stuff to remember. Okay. In the parts where you go into the Matrix, into this construct, there is a specific room, kind of like the teleporter room or the beam me up Scotty room, whatever it was called. But instead of those panels, there's a thing, like a wall. It's basically a Stargate. Like, if you've seen the movie The Stargate itself, it's like that, but integrated into the wall or onto the floor. And the technician person, there's two of them. One on that, actually there was four. Oh, there were four. That's why they call the Guardians of the Four Corners. Thanks. There's four of them. And then the fifth one that observes, and then you that goes in. So when you go in there, you usually need a purpose to go in there. You don't just go in there for fun. The version of fun Matrix you go into, I'll get to that later, and let me put this here to remind myself, this little coin, to talk about the fun part of it. The one you go to, the real one, that's like made to, whatever, the main one. With those four people, they do something, and the stuff lights up. Their desks or control panels, I think they're called. They light up in these shimmering weird colors, and the control panels are made out of this, what's that word? It's like a plastic, but it's not plastic. It's like silicone, but it's not silicone. You can like push it and it makes musical sounds. because it's not about levers or gears, it's about light, sound, and this weird vibration that it does. So one of them that clicks something and it makes this ooh sound, and then the other one clicks it and it goes and then the other one clicks it and it just makes this light come out of it, all full spectrums of light. And then the fifth one or the fourth one clicks it, and then all of it merges together in this weird globby, goopy formed matter, but it's not matter, it's nothingness, but it is something. Just like everything and nothing. It's like a black hole, and then light going into the black hole. And then the fifth one tells you basically when it's ready or not, and monitors you, keeps you in check, you know, keeps the levers in control. It's basically the anchor. And that's what I've always basically attributed to. And then you're put into this suit, which is like a skin tight suit and a headdress that's like a virtual reality thing to cover your eyes, nose, mouth, ears, so then you can be pulled back out, basically. Or at least that's how I see it, because you're going into nothingness. I mean, you're safe, but you're still in nothing. And you go into this thing, and then you forget who you are, you forget your body, you basically, your consciousness leaves the body, and you go into this nothingness, into this black hole, and then everything that is your consciousness gets swirled around this black hole thing, and then you experience it reflected back at you. So if like the light is going into this cup, the light is reflecting itself off the edges, experiencing what it is on the inside. That way it can heal, it can restructure the body, it can do whatever it needs to do, it can change its physical structure from male, female, whatever. It can just completely restructurize itself, because it goes in one way and it comes out the same way, but while it's in there, it's basically the cocoon for the butterfly. You go in as a caterpillar, you come out as a butterfly, if you so choose to. I mean, you can go in there. The times I've been in there recently, I got really messed up on that planet because I did stuff I wasn't supposed to do, because I was all like too big for my britches, or too small for my big britches, or whatever it's called. And I'm like, no, it's fine, I can do this. And then I got splatted, and then I had to be put in there. And yeah, the most recent time, last night was weirdest. The program seemed to have messed up something. There was like an error in there, and the construct was attacking the people in there. It was weird. Everybody was like logging out of it, and I was stuck in there. And I remember vividly in the dream that I needed to close my eyes, get myself in this part where light wasn't shining on me, and to continuously tell myself that I'm ready to log out, that I'm ready to log out, and it wasn't working. And I was telling myself, this is not real, this is not real, it's all fake, what's happening here? Why can't I leave? It was weird, it was so scary. The entire ship I was on was like using everything it had to attack everybody on the ship. Anyway, that aside, something was going on weird and wherever I was experiencing what I was experiencing. That thing you go into, which apparently I'm still in, is designed to heal you. Now, when people say that the Matrix was taken over by these Archons, reptilians, and it's being used, people are being used as a battery, technically, yes, that can happen. Is it being used that way now? Not the one I was experiencing. There seems to be a divergence, if we can call it that, to where there's a siphoning of where you go into another Matrix construct. So the people going into the Matrix from that spaceship thingy are being pulled into this other Matrix in this other device thingy. And I don't really have more information to give you on this because every time I've attempted to figure out what's going on, I get a whole massive amount of nothing shown to me. Like, I'm basically not time yet or whatever to know this. Now, the fun matrix, when you go into just, to have fun, to experience things, like everybody can go in there and play the coolest game of life thing, like The Sims 12, basically. That is on the main ship. You go into, like, you're basically walking to the cafeteria, and there's places where you go and get your clothes made, where you go and get your hair done, your nails did, and all of that stuff. Like, there's actual places on the ship where you go and interact with people because they're people, you want to interact with them. There's one area, it's on the second floor. You go up this massive, huge lobby that has a beautiful, gorgeous fountain in the middle. And the fountain is covered in these flowers and plants, and you can eat all of them, and they help clean the air, and they filter the water of the entire ship. And you go up these stairs, and there is a whole massive long hallway that is covered in darkness. So where you are now, walking to the hallway, is made out of light. But there's a distinct block, like a barrier, of a dark screen. And once you walk through the dark screen, a single step, you turn around and the light behind you is blinding white light. And where you are in the darkness becomes completely visible. So it's like a duality flippy thing. And you keep walking, and then you see all these pink and blue and purple and glowing lights in the dark. And the closer you walk, you realize they're basically like arcade constructs. Like when you go into those old arcade buildings they had in the 90s and the early 20s, or 2001, 2002, whatever. I haven't seen an arcade shop in a while. It's like these little machines, and one of them's like, Street Fighter 4 or The Sims 12 or something, and the Matrix Game of Life is one of them. When you go in there, they give you a basic little mini virtual reality set and bodysuit, and you go into this like a photo booth basically, and you experience this game briefly. You come in, you help, you do whatever you want. You can be the villain, you can be the good guy, you play any role, and boom, you're gone. You can live an entire lifetime in like 60 seconds basically. To them there on the ship it's 60 seconds. To you here it's like an entire lifetime. And yeah, you still get benefits of playing that game, but your body doesn't change. You're like, you can't go in there and be like, oh, I'm gonna go and change my gender from male to female, be right back in 60 seconds. Like the arcade version of it, you still get the benefits internally of your mental and physical body healing internally if you succeed at what you're doing. So if you're going in there and you have like daddy issues or something that you want to resolve, you go into the game and you experience a life where this person has these parental issues, and then the money issues arise from the daddy issues, the relationship issues come up, so on and so forth. And depending on how many things you check off and how many things you achieve, you come out healed in those aspects. You come out better and better. And you're never in danger. You're never going to get really hurt because your friends are right there with you. The crew, the ship, everyone knows you're there and everyone's taking care of you. That's why most people feel safe, and they're like, your guides are watching you and they're, really close to you. You're never alone because you're not. And what else was there? Am I supposed to say anything else right now about this? Because my head's starting to hurt. I think that's it for now. I was going to draw this all out for you and doodles and things, but but I wouldn't even know how to draw you an 8-dimensional crystal on a piece of paper to be like, you're here, you are here. So yeah. No, Tiny Warden, I will not obey you. He's right there. Anyway, I hope that was enlightening and helpful to you. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. I will do my best to answer. And if I don't know the answer, I will look for it or ask my guides and team and channel it for you if I have to. And oh, the thing I was saying about the ship, that experience I was having with the ship being messed up, there might be some weird things if we share the same matrix, like if we're part of the same soul group. There might be some stuff going weird in the world in the next few days, possibly 3 days. Don't react to it. Don't respond to it. Do not feed it any energy. I don't know what's going on, and I'm not going to be like fear-mongering you or anything. But stuff might be off. Like there might be a lot of glitches happening. There might be weird disruptions. There might be like snow happening in the middle of May for no apparent freaking reason, or I don't know, the deserts might start blooming, like weird glitches. Okay, you can utilize this to your advantage. If you've been attempting to manifest $1 million, now would be a really great time for you to do that, because the system seems to be going through a defragmentation process. Because when I was on there and this was happening, people were like reacting in fear. But when I stood there, and I remember this vividly, I asked the ship, what's going on? She's like, there is nothing to be concerned about. There is nothing to be concerned about. All is well. It was repeating this in this female, voice, like a sentient machine. So, and there wasn't, like, I wasn't hurt. I wasn't being damaged in any way. People were running and being afraid because what they wanted wasn't being given to them. Like, it was basically like a bunch of spoiled yuppie Kardashians running and crying because they weren't getting what they wanted, because they had to wait. So the next few days, just, chill out, meditate as much as you can, do some gardening, take care of this planet. If we're even on a planet, take care of yourself, be really kind, and realize that you can affect this reality with your thoughts and your actions. And then that what you experience here gets programmed into the Matrix program to assist in its entire structure. So if you're living a life of positivity, you are assisting in creating a more positive based program that runs within this matrix. If you're constantly feeling like a victim, you are contributing to more victim scenarios being available to the matrix to play for everybody. I think that's it. I'll make another video tomorrow probably, and there's something else I'm supposed to be talking about the Amazons and things, and gypsies, and the Rome and the Anthropos and the Aeon thing, because apparently people seem to think that Amazons were child abducting men raping female barbarians. Which is so far from the truth that only a man could have made up those lies. So yeah, I'll make another video and talk about that later. Alright, I intend for you to have a fantastic freaking life experience, okay? Bye.